Trews is mainly a vehicle for me to express my silly old self, but why not hear you expressing yourself? And alright then, here it is. Smart Street 33RT says, do more spiritual Trews. Judging by the state of the comments on here, Trews channel people aren't living the revolution of love, joy and peace. If we aren't, then the revolution will be violent and shoddy. A lot of people though, a Smart Street 33T, do want a lot more spiritual truths, and spirituality, I think, is probably more important, more relevant and more likely to bring about realistic and lasting change than any amount of administrative, bureaucratic or politically led ideology. So let's focus for a while on spirituality in its many guises.
What I'll do is I'll describe a DMT trip, and it's a composite of maybe 40 of these trips.
So this is Terence McKenna talking about his experiences on DMT, a compound derived from ayahuasca but also found in our own mind. Now, as you know, I'm a recovering drug addict and can never take drugs, but I'm constantly debating whether or not I'm allowed to do this terrifying thing.
You take 2 hits in a situation where your clothes have been loosened and you can just flop backward when you need to. You take 2 hits. Now, many people miss the point because after 2 hits, you feel completely peculiar. You feel as though your body is undergoing some strange kind of anesthesia. All the air has been pumped out of the room. This is the visual acuity thing I talked about last night. The colors jump up. The edges sharpen. And at that point, people say, whoa, wow, it's really coming on strong. And then what you have to do is you have to take one more enormous hit. And this separates the intrepid from the casual, believe me.
I mean, to me, a recovering drug addict, this music to my ears, the very idea that there might be some way of inhaling some intoxicant that takes you to another dimension using DMT, which is dimethyltryptamine, I can't say it, it's a very, very long word, but something that's produced naturally in the pituitary gland, apparently, in the old noggin, and takes you to another dimension of consciousness.
Then what happens is you close your eyes, and then these colors begin racing together, and it forms this mandalic, floral, slowly rotating thing. And then there's this very defined sense of bursting through something, a membrane. And on the other side, there's a cheer, a whole bunch of entities waiting on the other side. And you burst into this space. You feel like some kind of bubble inside your body that's beginning to move up toward your mouth. And when it comes out, it isn't sound, it's vision.
What I like about Terence McKenna's descriptions of DMT is he says that there's a consistency. Whoever you are, or however many times you do it, there are certain junctions, points and symbols that you will continually encounter. That suggests the world of the unconscious mind, or different aspects of the conscious mind, have a consistency to them, have a language to them, have a reality. I mean, reality in its broadest sense means an external world that we can consensually agree upon, or a series of coordinates that we all agree on. West Ham wear these colours, football is this type of thing, Africa is over there, a diamond is worth this amount of money. Of course all these things changes. There will be a time in the future where diamonds are once again worthless. There will be a time in the future where West Ham are the greatest ever football team. So if there is an internal world that can be continually accessed and the conditions are continuous and constant and consistent, then what we're describing there is something that is actual. Terence McKenna goes on to describe an inner world that's every bit as vivid, lurid and as reliable as if he was visiting a country. The Maharishi or Prabhupada or Yogananda, explorers of inner space, explorers of consciousness, similarly describe junctions, jumping off points, where there is a consistency of experience. Also, you'll notice that in the Jungian analysis is built somewhat around the principle that certain archetypes, certain symbols, certain characters have a certain universal meaning in the psychology of individuals, regardless of whether or not that individual has got a shared experience. Like me and some little lad from Japan might dream the same dream, and we all know Belinda Carlisle does as well. And the work of Joseph Campbell, the great cultural mythologist, says that we have got comparable folk tales that follow the same formula. So when we're all saying, God, show me a sign, God, show me a sign, is God real? One answer to that question could be, well, it seems that there is a consistent reality that is not here in the sensorial world, a reality that nonetheless has consistencies to it. Now, if all of us, regardless of who we are, can access a constant reality, that it implies to me at least that there is an absolute. You know, like an atheistic corporeal view is, you're born, you die, if you get brought up well, you're fine, if you get the breaks, you don't get the breaks, you know, that your life is defined by materialistic external values, situations and criteria. But what the spiritual or mystic perspective is no. If you can gain access to this absolute and infinite world, you can change your reality. Spirituality can change your understanding of life. Now, Terence McKenna's things, check them out if you want to. Read more Eastern mysticism and watch the Trews, because all of us are trying to do the same thing, to reveal the truth behind the nonsense in the news, the nonsense that you're told. Aren't laws and business deals and contracts and the TTIP just elaborate long spells that are drawn up to impose a certain reality? We, the ordinary people of the world, can unify to create a different reality, a reality that is more just to us as a species, to the planet as our home. That is the true world order. That is the true world we're trying to create together, and that is some true news. Subscribe here.
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the nose. If the nose was true, I want some Trews. Let's have some Trews.